It's Christmas time. Well, sorta, it's Christmas time. I have the Brutus Monroe stamps here, one of the Oh Dear sets, and I want to make a Christmas card today. I will show you how I come about this. This is my first time to use this brand new stamp set from Brutus Monroe, and I'm going to use this stamp, which I haven't even peeled off here, and make a greeting card. I've got a few supplies sat out here, and I'll go through each one and tell you a little bit about each one as I use it. So to begin with, let's peel this stamp off and get him stamped. These are brand new stamps from Brutus Monroe. They just released. I got them this week, so I'm pretty excited about using them. I've got an acrylic block here, and I'm using some white cardstock and a freshly re-inked Stays-On ink pad. Reminder that when you have a brand new stamp and you've never stamped it before, you want to stamp it a couple of times on a scrap piece of paper. Basically, you're conditioning your stamp so that it'll give a good impression. That looks pretty good. And to help, I'm also using, this is a piece of fun foam. It's really thick. I'm putting that down below where I'm going to stamp. Since these cling stamps don't have cushion in them, they don't give. So if you have a cushion below them, you'll get an even better impression. And my goal is to stamp this little guy, and then I'm going to cut him out. So I'm going to do a quick stamp. Like so. Ah, that's pretty cute. So there he is. Now what I want to do is color him in really quick like. I'm going to use some watercolor pencils, that way it'll go pretty fast. So I've got a watercolor brush, and then I've got a few of just miscellaneous brands of watercolor pencils. I'll just grab a few out here and see which one seems to call to me to color him in. Let's grab a couple of browns and see how he colors out. What I'm going to do is use a dark color first and kind of go around the outside of him just a little bit. And I'm not worried about coloring in the lines because watercolor, you don't have to really stay in the lines. And I'm going to cut him out. And I want his antlers to be a little darker. And then I'm going to use a little bit of this, oops, I forgot a spot right here. Kind of zoom in so you can see me coloring. I just got a water brush, it's just got plain water. I usually squeeze it out onto a pad or a towel, and then I'm just going to go in and fill in the color. This is one fat reindeer. Wait, or is he supposed to be challenged in some way? What is the politically correct way? I think he got a little bit too much reindeer food. Fluffy, maybe? I fall in that fluffy category too sometimes. It's okay, we still love him no matter what shape he is. Alrighty. So I've colored him in just a little bit. I'm going to zoom back out, and then I'm going to cut him out, and we'll move on to the next part. Before the video, I used a Sizzix die. Pardon me if I clear my throat a few times. We've got allergies here in Oklahoma right now. So before I started the video, I cut out a Christmas tree. This is what the tree looks like. I cut him out of chipboard, and I want to paint this because I think it would look really cute behind this little reindeer. So what I want to do is paint this, and I've got a piece of paper here that I'm just going to use as a mop up in a sense, because I don't want to have to keep wiping up my table. And I've got some paint that I picked up on clearance. It's just a Galleria paint that I got a while back. And I use a damp brush. I get it wet before I paint. And I'm just going to paint this on. I want this to have a little bit of shimmer, so we'll zoom in here so you can see it. I want this to have a little bit of shimmer, maybe some other hues into it. So I have some chalk shimmer, and I have some glimmer mist from Tattered Angels. So I'm going to spray this a couple of times, and then that'll set aside and it can dry. So we'll just squirt that. Then I'm going to set this aside and let that dry. Alright, I've got an embossing folder and a piece of paper that I want to emboss. So I've got out my Tim Holtz handy dandy Vagabond so that I can remember how to open it. I like it because it's electric. So I'm just putting my sandwich together. And there's my embossed piece. So we'll clear this away now. And I want to trim this down just a little bit. So I'm going to trim off the part that didn't get embossed. Now it's a little bit hard to see the texture on here. I'm going to show you a little bit closer. It's a little bit hard to see that texture. So I've got the Brutus Monroe Premium Chalk Ink, and I've got one of the blending tools from Tim Holtz. So I'm going to use my tool here, and I'm pouncing on here and blending at the same time, because I don't want actual hard lines. I want to swirl on here, and then I'm going to use a direct to paper technique to help color the snowflakes. Those are popping out nicely. You can see them. The last thing I want to do is I want to go around the edge of this, direct to paper. I think this needs some shimmer to it. I don't have a glimmer mist in just a white or clear, but I have made one of my own. This is Pearl X in water and floor polish. This is something that I've been doing for years, because this was way before Glimmer Mist from Tattered Angels ever came out, and I knew how to do it a long time ago, so I had always made my own because it was so inexpensive. So I'm just going to spray some of this on my page, and I'm going to set that aside to dry for a moment. You kind of see that it's starting to shimmer. And now I'm going to go back to my Christmas tree. So we've got our Christmas tree here. He's kind of curled up a little bit, but he needs some help drying. So what I'm going to do is use my heat tool and dry him up just a little bit. And then we're going to do some stamping on him. Heat tool. Now on this Brutus Monroe stamp set, there are some little snowflakes and stars, and so what I want to do is take this little block and place these on here so that I can stamp them all over my tree. I'm going to use embossing ink from and powder from Brutus Monroe. I'm going to do it in silver. I've got a scrap piece of paper to sprinkle the powder on. So I'm going to ink up by pouncing up and down. And then I'm going to place these on here randomly. I gotta work quickly so that the ink doesn't dry. Before I sprinkle the powder on. My ceiling fan is on, it's blowing my powder. Alright, so I've got a pattern on there. Now I'm going to emboss that. And I think I want the phrase Happy Holidays. So I want to stamp that out. So we'll use a block here. Place this back on here. Again, I'm using the Stays On black ink, and I'm going to stamp it off onto a scrap piece of paper once, twice, just to make sure it's got a good impression. It does. So I'm going to stamp it for reals this time. Right across the bottom. I like the clear blocks because it makes it easy to see where I'm stamping. I'm just holding firm pressure for just a moment and then lift up. I got a nice image. That's good. Alright, so I've got, I think, all of my components ready to start assembling my greeting card. He may need, oh yeah, I need to do his nose. I didn't do his nose earlier. Let's put some charcoal on his nose. A little better? Okay. So I've got my layers that I want to put on my card. I think I need to go around the edge of this card with the same chalk ink, so I'm going to go around that. And I'm making a wide swath, kind of messily, because I want it to have a good amount of color. Okay. Zoom back out just a tad so you can see more of the card. I've got this, and I think I want him on there and this on there. And we're going to have the Happy Holidays. I'm going to make this look like a pennant. Like so. It needs something else. What does it need? Oh, I know what it needs. We need to put some ribbon around here. I think a touch of red would be good. So let's put, we want to put that over the tree. Use my ATG gun to adhere the tree to the card. I believe these needs to be pop dotted up. So we'll put a few dots behind him. And I think the Happy Holidays needs to be pop dotted. And then I found these little snowflakes. They're kind of iridescent. I think we need a few of those sprinkled on here. Maybe I should put this down first, so I don't have to handle it. Alright, so I've got a little glue I'm going to put right here. Stick that down. Alright, there is my Happy Holidays using the Brutus Monroe Oh Dear in the Happy Holidays. I used his embossing ink, the embossing powder, the premium chalk ink. I also used the Brutus Monroe chalk shimmer in sage on the tree, as well as using the Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist on the tree. We used some acrylic paint on the tree to give that nice green color. We used an embossing folder. The embossing folder was from Cuttlebug. It's just a little snowflakes. Used the Tim Holtz machine to cut out my Christmas tree as well as doing the embossing. The tree was from Sizzix. So there is a Christmas card. Happy holidays. Oh dear. Hope you like this card. Please give me a thumbs up and make sure that you subscribe if you're not already. Go over to Brutus Monroe and buy this set before it runs out for the Christmas holidays. And follow me on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, as well as any other social media that I may be on. I think I'm on Twitter as well. And follow me on the Brutus Monroe design team, as we put out something every single day with the design team. Thanks for watching today. Have a wonderful Christmas as well. Bye.